I got involved in mentoring because I've spent most of my life as a mentor to somebody. I spent a long time teaching college students, and part of that whole process is just getting to know people.
I signed up for the mentee mentor program through the Chapel of the Cross because I was really enjoying, being a college and university student, and that was great. But I think I just got a little bit tired of only speaking to other college students.
I decided to participate in the mentoring program because the head of the mentoring program, Barbara, approached me and told me that she thought it would be a really good opportunity for me.
Well, first I'm going to go off script and say how lucky I was to have gotten teamed up with Simon, who makes everything easy because he's such a great guy. And since then we have met in person several times. We were talking before this interview, and then COVID struck, and so it was mostly email and text.
We communicated a lot of different ways. Email was, I'd say, the primary form of communication, but I'd say that's the primary communication for almost anything these days. But we also met in person a few times. During the pandemic, we met that was distanced and appropriate. We also texted various times. We had a couple of different Zoom calls.
You don't set out in the beginning of this to try to have a rigorous 1, 2, 3 step process. Although in our first couple of meetings I did have an agenda set up, which I thought was a good way to get things rolling. That was my wife's suggestion. And then after you cover the basics, then you can go on and just have just a normal conversation, but a productive conversation. It's not just talking for the sake of talking. You're trying to think through something and accomplish something.
And the first time I met him, he had a sheet of paper with bullet points of absolutely everything we were going to talk about, and I was terrified. It was a really good way to just break down all the barriers, and then like he said, once we broke past that, it was like smooth sailing, and we could just talk about anything.
My spiritual director says everything is spiritual, so it doesn't just have to be about God and church and religion and so on.
I honestly didn't expect you to have so many overlapping interests that I did, especially when it comes to just some of the books that I like to read and some of the ideas that I like to discuss when it comes to theology, different parts of religion, as well as just, thinking about and discussing the world we live in.
I think I've learned that I have the ability to communicate with anybody kind of regardless of age.
I think the biggest thing that I've learned through being mentored by Jay is this idea that faith is rooted in community rather than simply in oneself. I think we often think about faith as something to pursue all alone. We pray alone, we read the Bible alone probably, and during COVID, we're even attending church alone, watching it on a screen. And so I think something that you learn when you're being mentored is that faith is something that you can engage with together with another person instead of on your own.
I'm surprised how much I enjoyed it. I went into it with good expectations, but I came out of it not just having met you, Simon, but having through the mentoring larger group, the Chapel of the Cross and the Lilly Foundation. I went through this Clifton Strength Builder exercise. I see Simon nodding, he did too. That was very worthwhile, so I got that out of it.
The depth of the relationship that we've been able to build in what is really not a very long time. And I think that is a result of how willing you were, and I was too, to do what it took to reach that stage.
I would definitely recommend this program to other students and parishioners.
I would recommend it to any student who would like an impartial adult.
I would recommend the mentoring program 100% to any UNC student, anybody involved with ECM.
Would I recommend this program to other parishioners, was the question. And the answer is absolutely.
Absolutely. I would 100% recommend this program if you are able to find the right match, and the people in charge do a very good job pairing people together.
Would I recommend this program to students and other potential mentors? Yes, I would. I would recommend it, but only if the person was willing to make a commitment to time, because this is not a word that most people use, or I think they misuse it. Most people know what a mentor is generally, but if you start thinking about the job description for this, so I would say if you have the time, if you are available, that is to say, if you're going to be present, then certainly you want to do this.